This morning I want to speak on something very current, very pressing, but I got a message from somebody and it's concerning this particular video. My point of this particular video is this. Within the first second, you should have seen right away that there was something wrong with the man who is delivering this false message. Can you see it? You can't? Well, what a shame. Let me show you something. First Corinthians 11 verse 4. And remember, the Moshiach name is not Christ or Christos. The name Christos originated from Sybil, a false idol. Okay? Every man praying or prophesying having his head covered. Let's make sure that we know what we're talking about. From a higher to a lower place. Okay? Now people might say, well, we don't have much context here. Well, listen carefully because you're going to get some context. Dishonors his head. All right? What is his head? The cornerstone. That would be the Moshiach. Head, ruler, master, etc. Chief. His chief. Now, here's context. But every woman that prays or prophesies or preaches with her head uncovered, now you're getting context, unveiled, dishonors her head. For it is even one as if she were completely head shaven, if her head is unveiled when she prophesies or when she prays. For if a woman be not covered, let her also be shorn. But if it is a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, then let her be covered up. I veil, cover the head. Okay? For a man indeed ought not to cover up his head, because he is in the image and the glory not of God, but of Jehovah, the Creator himself. But the woman is the glory of the man, because the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. Now we go back and have a look at this again. Is his head covered? Yes, it is. According to Paul, since he is preaching, he dishonors the chief cornerstone, his head. So upon seeing this, why would you continue to watch him, knowing full well he does not even know, understand, or believe the most basic doctrine? Why would you? And he's asking, is the Apostle John, as he says, and his name is not John, it's Yochanan, still alive? Those of you, if you are not grounded in the truth, you will be led astray by this. Let me show you what I mean. Is he still alive? You can even Google this. Is it... Did I mess something up here? Okay. There it is right here. You can Google it. Hebrews 9 verse 27, it is appointed unto every man once to die, but after this is the judgment. This verse suggests, no, it does not suggest. It's absolutely true that death is an appointment that cannot be canceled or ignored, and that people will face judgment after they die. Now, it can only be canceled by Yehoshua if he decides to do so. So he's making the case that Yochanan is still alive.
Is the Apostle John still alive? Now, I know how insane that must sound, because trust me, when I first heard that, I was like, there's no way. That's absolutely insane to even think that. But once I dove into scripture, y'all, I started to see things pop out at me that I never saw before. And to be honest, it was fascinating. Now, I have to preface all of this by saying that this is not a salvation issue whatsoever. So don't get all mad at me in the comments before you even hear what I have to say, alright? What I'm going to do is back up this theory that John is still alive using scripture, and you can believe what you want to believe. Okay, so here we go. The first hint that John is still alive comes in John chapter 21. To set the scene, this is when Jesus has breakfast with his disciples on the beach after his resurrection. And when he asked Peter 3 times, "Do you love me?" Right after this, Jesus basically tells Peter that he's going to be martyred and crucified for his faith at some point when he's older. But then Peter starts to freak out a little bit. He looks back at John, and this is where we pick it up in John 21, verse 21. So when Peter saw him, John, he asked Jesus, "Lord, and what about this man? What is his future?" Jesus said to him, "If I want him to stay alive until I come again, what is that to you? You follow me." So this word...
Okay. So not Jesus. If Jehovah is the same yesterday, today, and forever, then Yehoshua, his name remains the same yesterday, today, and forever. And the same with Jehovah. His name has not changed to God, and Yehoshua's name has not changed to Jesus. In spite of what you Christians try to say. Now, and the name is not Peter here, it is Cephas. Paul plainly said that. Now, so this guy, he reads this, and he comes to the conclusion that Yochanan will not die. But right here, in this chapter, the writer says they completely misunderstood. Listen. Yehoshua said unto him, "If I will that he remain till I come, what is that to you? Is that any of your business one way or the other? This is what he said. Because he continues, you follow me and don't be concerned about whether or not a man remains alive until he comes or not. So why are you concerned about it? It's none of your business. It was none of Cephas's business. It's none of my business, and it's none of your business. Then went this saying abroad among the brethren that disciple should not die. Yet Yehoshua, not Jesus, his name is Yehoshua. It was back then, it is today, and it will be Yehoshua forever. Because Yehoshua means Jehovah is salvation. It is a declaration of truth. And any deviation from that truth is a damnable lie. Then went the saying abroad among the brethren that disciples should not die. Yet Yehoshua did not say that he should not die. What are you people doing? Why are you listening to these deceivers? On Facebook, on YouTube. Why aren't you studying your own scripture and reading, continuing to read to get context? What is wrong with you? I tell you, if you're going to be deceived by these people, then you are going to be deceived at the end when the Moshiach comes to save Israel, and you're going to believe the false Antichrist doctrine. And you will join in the fight against Israel's Moshiach, and you will die. He did not say to him that he would not die, but if he chooses to have him wait until he comes, what is that to you? It's none of your business. And it's none of my business. Okay. Is that settled now? Now let's get on to more important things here. That's right. The prophets. Yoel 2 and Yoel 3. I have gone over that over and over and over again. And in the previous video, I pointed out that the last two verses of Yoel 2 is a summary of Yoel 3. In the after part, not "it shall come to pass afterward," no, in the after part, as opposed to the before part. Because he says before or facing, and then he says the after part. See, right here it says facing, which is right at the edge of the great and terrible day of not the Lord, but Jehovah. All right? So if you want to put the before part first, then what you're going to have to do is put verse 28 and 29 and, oh, hold on, yes, 28 and 29 right here. So let's do that. Right? I will show a portent. See the word portent? Mopheth means portent. You know what that word means. It is a warning sign. Warning, warning, warning in the sky and in the earth. What is going to be in the sky and in the earth? Blood, fire, and Timara, palm-like columns of smoke. All right? Blood in the sky, blood in the earth, palm-like column of smoke. This is the portent. Let's look up the word portent. What does it mean? Not portentous. A sign or warning that something especially momentous or calamitous is about to happen. Some of you are chasing things that are none of your business and are avoiding the obvious portent. So, that's to be four-part. Let's see if I can, where was I? Yes. The sun will be turned into darkness and the moon into blood, facing the great and terrible day of Jehovah. So, these nukes launches will trigger the great and terrible day of Jehovah. Now, after the great and terrible day of Jehovah's wrath begins, in the after part, I will pour out my ruach, to pour out ruach upon flesh of your sons, Yoel's sons, and his daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions. And in the last verse of Ezekiel 39, you will see exactly who he's going to pour out his ruach upon. The whole house of Israel. If you read Romans 11 verse 25 and 26, you will see exactly who he's going to pour out his ruach upon and who he's going to save. And then we read here, your old men shall dream dreams, and young men shall see visions. Verse 32, those who proclaim Shem Jehovah, not the name of the Lord, but Shem, there it is, right there, Shem Jehovah, shall be delivered, shall slip away to Mount Zion. How will they slip away to Mount Zion? Well, unlike the rapture doctrine, the prophets show exactly how it's going to happen. on flying ships of Tarshish. Isaiah 11, verse 8 and 9. Isaiah 60, verse 8 and verse 9. I'm sorry. Old age is creeping up on me. Isaiah 60, verse 8 and 9. Shall be delivered to Mount Zion, Jerusalem will be the escape, because Jehovah said so. So it doesn't matter what your preacher says. See, the word of Jehovah trumps all of that nonsense. You see, in the remnant whom Jehovah will call. And the remnant is the survivors of this great event. The nuclear situation. Now, I want to do this one, but then this comes to mind of another article. I don't know if it's still up there or not. I can try to look for it. But Israel says they're going to use new weapons that their enemy has never heard of before. See if I can find. See here. It's in here somewhere. I'm not looking for videos, I don't think. Or am I? I don't think I'll be able to find it, but let's just go ahead and it might just be available in this particular article. This is going to be the most important article anyway. Please read this carefully. It is on War News 24/7. Netanyahu moves to annex not the West Bank, but Judea and Samaria. IDF builds massive food warehouses and deploys forces in Golan and Lebanon. They are preparing for the great Middle East war. You know as well as I do, once Israel is engulfed in war, the whole world, including Jordan, is going to jump in. Israel tanks, armored personnel carriers, and artillery forces are being deployed along the border with Lebanon on the South Lebanon's Golan front as the start of operation nears. Israel, fearing a general conflagration involving hundreds of thousands of Shiites and pro-Iranian militias from across the Middle East rushing to the aid of Hezbollah, is building up huge emergency warehouses for wartime food supplies. The package contains food for 72 hours for a family of 4, which will be delivered by the IDF to Israelis who cannot leave their homes in the event of a war against Hezbollah. And if anybody who is affiliated with this particular task of getting these packages ready, please feel free to send me a message so that those who are listening to this channel will be able to donate to your cause. It is very, very, very important. Okay? The packages contain food for 72 hours for a family of 4, which will be delivered by the IDF to Israelis who cannot leave their homes in the event of a war against Hezbollah. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu earlier met with Israeli reservists in northern Israel, where he stressed, with the help of our fighters, we will achieve all our goals until victory. Jordan is also deploying forces on the border with Israel due to an increased threat from, not the West Bank, but Judea and Samaria. I don't know what this is. Are growing on the border from Jordan. Let's see if I can find what that is. Dutch infantry fighting vehicles. Okay. Alright, so Dutch infantry fighting vehicles are growing on the border from Jordan. It looks like Jordan are preparing to join the fight. Because the Israeli tanks are Merkava tanks, they're their own home-built tanks, and some U.S. tanks. As we can see here, they are coming to Israel's Merkava tanks, main battle tanks, are heading toward the Golan Heights. Okay. Hezbollah proceeded to transfer its fighters from Deir ez-Zor, Syria, from the Mayadir and Al-Kamal sectors east of Deir ez-Zor to Lebanon in anticipation, of course, of the upcoming war between Israel and Hezbollah. At the same time, the Secretary General of the Iranian-backed Iraqi militia threatened that if the United States helps an Israeli invasion of South Lebanon and the war with Hezbollah, it will be targeting U.S. bases, personnel, interests throughout the region, but more specifically in Iraq. Alright, so alright. In the meantime, the statement of the far-right Minister of Finance of Israel, as well as the Minister of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Bezalel Smotrich, are setting fire. Now remember, this is translated, okay, translated from Greek. Starting a fire. Smotrich maintains a coalition government supporting the also extreme views of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Well, if Prime Minister Netanyahu's views are extreme, then mine are ultra-extremist. According to him, speaking at a meeting of his party, Religious Zionism, he said, I am documenting the facts in order to make Judea and Samaria an integral part of the state of Israel. Duh! It is written in Jeremiah 30 and 31 that Judea and Samaria will be an integral part of the state or the kingdom of Israel. We will establish sovereignty, he added, first on the ground and then legislatively. I intend to legalize the new settlements. My mission is to overthrow the establishment of a Palestinian state. And he is absolutely right, correct to say this, because the mandate, this mandate right here, is written in Yoel 3. In that day, in that time, I will bring the captives of Yehuda and Jerusalem. I will also gather the Goyim and bring them down into the valley of judgment, and will judge them for my people, for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the Gentiles and parted my land. Concerning Tyre and Zidon, southern Lebanon, and the coast of Pelesheth, that would be Gaza. Are you going to retaliate? Is that your intention? If you do, swiftly and speedily will I retaliate against you, because you took my silver and my gold and carried away into your temples my pleasant things, and the children of Yehuda and the children of Jerusalem you sold to the Greeks. Yes, you helped the Romans sell them to the Greeks, that you might remove them far from their border. I will raise them up out of the place where you have sold them, and I will return your recompense upon your own head. So, in this particular war, the Israelis are going to win decisively, extremely decisively. And the Lebanese, Tyre and Zidon, and Pelesheth, and anyone else who sticks their nose in Israel's business is going to lose in an extreme fashion into the hand of the children of Yehuda, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, Africans, to a people afar off. Jehovah said so. So if Jehovah says so, there's nothing that any army in the world can do about it. And this will cause the great Middle East war that is also written about in the book of Revelation that Yochanan wrote. All right? So, let's continue. And of course, there is great upheaval in the state of Israel, which Yoel 3 shows. So, put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, get you down, for the press is full, and the fats overflow. That means there's going to be a lot of invaders. Multitudes and multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Jehovah is near. In the valley of decision, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars withdraw their shining. It's exactly what it says in Yoel 2. And when this event takes place, when the nukes are launched, when Jehovah roars out of Zion and utters his voice from Jerusalem, and then the heavens starts to shake and the earth starts to shake. The great war in Ezekiel 38 and 39. Jehovah will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. That's when Jehovah is going to pour out his Ruach upon Ezekiel 39, the whole house of Israel. Verse 25. This is what Adonai Jehovah says. I will bring back the captives of Jacob and have mercy on the whole house of Israel, and will be jealous for my holy name after Israel bears their shame and all the trespasses which they have trespassed against him. And they did bear that shame for nearly 2,000 years, folks. When they dwelt safely in their land, and none made them afraid. I will bring them back from the people, and gather them out of their enemies' land, and I will be sanctified in the sight of many Gentiles, Goy, and they shall know, not Lord, but Jehovah, Elohim, which caused them to be led into captivity among the Gentiles. And I have gathered them back into their own land, and have left none of them there anymore. Neither will I hide from my face from them, because I will pour out my ruach upon the whole house of Israel, says Adonai Jehovah. And there it is, folks. I could go and find that other article about Israel saying that they're going to use weapons in this particular upcoming war that have never been used before. But you can Google that for yourself. Israel is going to win this war, folks. And the world is going to lose. Lose big. Okay? So focus on that. Stop focusing on these other things that these false preachers lead you astray with.